guys, this is Mark Goldberg from Mark Vlogs Watches, and I have reviewed this James Cameron Deep Sea Sea Dweller before, but I don't know, I'm just fascinated with this watch. I'm wearing it this morning, so I thought this isn't going to really be a review. I did a complete review on my channel, so you can have a look through my uploaded videos for that. But I think it's a good time. Ooh, holy shit, bezel police are coming. Bezel police. Yeah, that's nearly a great big fail. So, all right, let me take it off. Actually, let me show you the glide lock clasp. Then we'll get this off and fix that bezel, make sure it's correct now. Okay. So the Submariner has a different glide lock clasp. This one is a little bit more technically advanced, and I think it's only on the Deep Sea Sea Dweller. We pick this baby up here, we lift that, and then you can see there's ratchets inside. So we can adjust this without actually removing it. We just kind of poke it in. The ratchet will catch it. I've now reduced the size of it by a few millimeters. Close it, and now it's going to fit better. I have a 7.5-inch wrist, pretty flat wrist bone. Hey, you know what? I'm pulling a Simon Crane here. I'm in a bathrobe, except for mine isn't all that tattered. Unlike Simon's, however, it is covered in dog hair, which probably represents at least 50% of my dietary fiber. If you want to stay regular, guys, adopt a shedding dog. That's my recommendation. Okay, so that's the glide lock clasp. Now let's get this thing off. I talked about this in the review video. The thing about the bezel, it's a little tough. It is lined up correctly. I did get it right. You know, it's a little hard with this domed crystal. I love that. Boy, just that little bit of distortion, you know, looking through the domed crystal. I adore this crystal. But it does make it a little hard to photograph it in the light. And you can see there's a chandelier kind of like right over my head. And that's a bit of a problem. But this is lined up correctly here now. The problem, of course, is as follows. I'm going to let you hear this too, by the way. If you ever wonder if you have a fake on your hands, just turn the bezel. In my experience, the fake ones have a very tinny click. This feels very creamy. There's a very solid click, but the space between the clicks is very smooth, and that is not true of the fakes. There's a ball bearing detent system in here that makes it very smooth, very creamy. I can tell by the turning action that the ball bearing is very tiny. And in the cheap fakes, there's a clip. So it just chunk, 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 and it feels and sounds crappier than a Seiko. Okay, so the problem here is you gotta line this up just so your little arrow is right in the middle of that E, and then it goes one more. And then you've got it perfectly. I've beaten this thing up a little bit. You can kind of see some of this is just, hang on, I'm gonna give it a quick touch up. You know, some of it is just fingerprints. But what you'll see now are, you know, some of the scratches. It's not too bad here. Well, you can kind of see it's marked up a little. It's much worse on this side. This is where we have the highly polished flanks. And right there, you know, up along, that's the gas relief valve, automatic helium escape valve, which nobody ever uses, but I guess it's kind of cool to have. Boy, I marred it there pretty good. And although the bracelet has small little hairline marks on it, that's not terribly noticeable. It's much more noticeable on the clasp. There's a pretty good one. It's not real deep. It looks it. It's very noticeable in this light, but I'm looking at it with the naked eye and it's not real deep. What happened is that scratch just pierced through the brushed surface of that clasp. I think it'll be pretty easy to brush out. I'm going to go get the scrubby and I'll show you how this is done. So this is just your typical kitchen sponge. The key thing is that the green scrubby part is a 3M product, and you can actually just, you know, like cut it off, and then I'm not really going to do this for real right now. I don't want to do it on camera. I want to be able to focus more. But you want to put light, even pressure to medium pressure, and then check your work, take it off. It'll just restore the brushed finish of this pretty easily and pretty quickly. I have done that to other watches, and it works fine. What I think is probably a little bit trickier is the polished edges of this watch. For that, you would want to use a Cape Cod cloth. Anyway, it's not really severely marred, but you know, there's some noticeable marks on it. I'll tell you this, I am not reluctant to hit this with the scrubby, okay, because that's easy, and you just about can't screw it up unless you were to go the wrong way, which I'm not gonna. But I have a question for you. In your opinion, a couple things. Number one, will a Cape Cod cloth take that out? Number two, should I do it? Or should I just leave it in its natural, unwashed, it's developing its own little patina of use? Should I just leave it alone? There's a really big debate among collectors about whether, now look, severely polished? No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about touching it up with a Cape Cod. So should I do that? Have you ever done that to your watches? And really, can I screw it up? Okay, I'm a little worried that I'm going to mess it up, and that I'll be sorry I did it, and that then I would have to send it for a proper polish, and I really don't want to polish this watch. I kind of like it in its naked, unwashed condition. There's some marks on this too. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Some of that's just dirt, but it's got little fine marks. Not much, not bad. I don't obsess about it. This is a tool watch. I expect it to get little marks here. Most of it is brushed. It's the polished parts that concern me more in terms of the marks. And what I'm really wondering here, guys, is, if you were me, would you go au natural? Would you leave it alone? Or would you touch it up with a Cape Cod cloth? I could really use some feedback on that, particularly from those of you who have experience with this. Anyway, just a little bit of a chat about the James Cameron edition of the Rolex Deep Sea Sea Dweller. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked this video. Please click that little button. If you're not a subscriber, please do it. And that way we can do this again. And yeah, give me your comments about the idea of touching up this watch on my own. What do you think? Am I crazy? So I couldn't stand it. I finished filming this video, and then I just did a little bit of light editing. And then I was looking at that scratch. So I grabbed the scrubby and I scrubbed it with a slightly damp corner of it, and you can see that scratch is virtually gone. When I look at it with the naked eye, there's just a smidgen of it left, but boy, it was just medium to light pressure with a slightly damp scrubby edge, and I would say total scrubbing time could not have exceeded 1 minute. Looks great. What do you guys think?